Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, September the 9th. We'll begin our media session with our head coaches at approximately 10:05 with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. He'll be followed by Alabama State head coach Eddie Robinson at 10:15. Coach Thomas with Alcorn State will be at 10:25. Coach Raymond Woodie with Bethune-Cookman will be at 10:35. Coach James Colzie with Florida A&M will be at 10:45. Coach Mickey Joseph with Grambling State will be at 10:55. Coach Alonzo Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff, he will be at 11:05. Coach Kendrick Gray with Mississippi Valley State will be at 11:15. Coach Bubba McDowell with Prairie View A&M, he'll be at 11:25. Coach Terrence Graves with Southern University will be at 11:35. Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern will be at 11:45. And Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State will be at 11:55. These are all Central Standard Time. We'll pause here momentarily. Thank you for your patience. For all of our media participants logged on the call with us, we do have a couple announcements we'd like to make before we get started. If you do have a question for our head coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for our coaches. If we have any questions in the queue, we will only take one initial question so that we can try to get as many questions answered as possible. If you have a follow-up question, just re-raise your hand again to get it back in the queue. If we've got time, we'll work our way back to get as many questions as possible. But out of respect for everyone's time and also trying to field as many questions as possible, please limit your questions to one question if you see that there are other questions that are in the queue. Also, please make sure that your lines are muted unless you're actively asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Good morning.
Thank you. How you doing today?
Doing great, Coach, and congratulations there on the milestone victory there at Kentucky State this past week.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Coach, if you could please just start us out with an opening statement just regarding your team's most recent outing there at home versus Kentucky State.
Yeah, we had Kentucky State, our first home game, Lewis Cruz Classic. So we was honoring Lewis Cruz, a great coach that coached here. And it's a great atmosphere. We had a nice crowd fight on our side. And, um, you know, those guys came in and played us hard. We got off to a good start. I think we scored maybe our first 4 or 5 possessions. And kind of got up and got the game under control and let a lot of people play. Stat wise, I think the defense played well, giving up 180 yards total offense to them, 150 passing, I think, and three sacks and a couple turnovers. But I just thought we gave up a little bit too much yards. Actuality, rushing and first downs. I think they got like 15 first downs. So we still got some work to do on that side of the ball. And offensively, I think we had the ball 10 times, scored 7 touchdowns and threw 2 interceptions. And then got stopped right before the half. Clock ran out So offensively execute at a high level, which we're supposed to do, I think, against a D2 program, and executing and putting the ball in the end zone, in the red zone. We didn't have to punt the ball one time the whole game. So, but we still got some work to do. We still got some work to do on that side of the ball too. Again, special teams, we didn't have to punt. Kickoff coverage, we got to do a little bit of work on kickoff coverage. And overall, I was pleased. A win, anytime you get a win, it's a good win. And but we got to go back and we got to keep getting better. And that starts tomorrow morning.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Good morning, Coach Maynor.
Good morning. How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing well. I wanted to ask, was Cornelius Brown's performance this past weekend enough to sort of separate himself from the rest of your quarterbacks in your quarterback room?
He played well. He's the starter. He's the starter. So right now we actually played 5 quarterbacks last game. So once I think the game is we got the game, we got a great chance to win the game. I start getting my starters out. So we got him out of there right after the halftime, and then we played AV. We played him a couple of series, and then we played our freshman series, 2 series, and then we played our other guy. And so he solidified the job. He's the starting quarterback going forward.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Doc. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Congratulations on your 100 victory over the weekend. You had over a total of 659 yards of total offense, but the one glaring thing that you had was 14 penalties for 140 yards. What are some things that you're going to try to do in the next game to try to clean up the mistakes, the penalties against your next opponent?
Yeah, we're going to try to get that cleaned up this week. We work on that this week, and it's discipline, just being smart, man, getting your football IQ up, doing stupid stuff, man, and we got to get that ironed out. And so I got to work on that this week. We got to work on that this week because you can't beat a good football team with 14 penalties and giving up 139 yards free. So we wasn't very disciplined this week, and so we got to get back to that, and that's my fault. So I got to get that corrected.
And one more thing, you were 14 of 14 on third down conversions. How well do you feel about your team being perfect on third down on Saturday?
Well, I mean, even though we played a D2 opponent, I mean, that's still pretty darn good to be 14 for 14. And I let the guys know that. I expect us to play well when we play down, but that's some good football right there on third down, be 14 for 14. I don't care who you're playing. If you're 14 for 14 on third down, you execute at a high level on third down. That's what we was able to do. Again, I said we had the ball 10 times and scored 7 touchdowns. And we only got stopped because before the half, we got her back with 45 seconds. And then we threw 2 interceptions. So the guys executed at a high level on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm pleased with the third down pickups and the way we executed 100% on third down. That was great. That was a big plus and a big positive.
All right. Thank you, Coach. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Charles Hallman.
Morning, Coach. Charles Hallman, Minnesota spokesman recorder. Congratulations again on your milestone. If you can speak a little bit on that, and also on the fact that Thomas Hannock was able to defeat Notre Dame at their place on Saturday, and how important that but Black coaches are like you are being so successful, and that should be talked about more.
Yeah, well, my 100 wins is just says that I'm getting old. I had a lot of great football coaches and I had a lot of great football players. We all know X's and O's, but it's about the Jimmies and the Joes. So if you got some good players and you got some good coaches, you'll be able to win some football games. And that's what it all comes down to. You got to have the players. And I've been fortunate to have some great coaches and some good coaches and some great football players over my years, and that equals into wins. And so I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm blessed, and just look forward to the next win. As far as Coach winning and beating Notre Dame, that's great, man. That's great for all us that play those games. For our kids to know, hey, man, you can win the game. You got to believe you can win the game. Then you got to prepare and do the things that is necessary to win the game, and that's what they was able to do. And I'm happy for Coach. That gives our guys hope, man. Gives our guys hope that we can go in and we can play with those guys. Not only play with them, but we can upset them.
Congratulations again, Coach. Good luck this Saturday.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we're going to go next to Coach Robinson. We're a few minutes ahead of schedule. He'll be at 10:15. We'll pause here momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question if there are additional questions that are in the queue, just so that we can try to give everyone an opportunity to ask a question. If we do have additional time, we're happy to work our way back to get additional questions asked and answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Alabama State coach Eddie Robinson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing good, Coach. Appreciate you asking. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing there versus Miles.
Yeah, after coming off a loss the week before, we were able to have a home opener against Miles College there in Montgomery. Had a good crowd. Everybody was out first home game, so I had all the excitement. Game got off to a pretty good start. Freshman quarterback James Hayes was making his first start and first career pass, all of that type stuff. So he did a pretty good job up there. I was able to throw a couple of touchdowns to Asa Gregg and Jalen Jones to kind of get us going. Defense played good. We were able to get up to a 24-3 lead. And then in the second half, he kind of came out the game. We put in Zach Sims to finish off the game. And I feel like he'll be, good to go this week, but he took a hit that we didn't want him to take. So at that point, it was just kind of managing the game. Felt like we had it under control, but, Miles is a tough team. They kept playing, kept driving the ball, so we kind of went back and forth. I had too many punts in the second half, couldn't really get everything going again, but maintained a 24-3 lead. Defense played well. Traquan Thomas had 3 sacks, a 4th fumble. James Burgess, Amon Scarborough both had interceptions. So it was good to see the guys that were counting on to make plays from a defensive standpoint. And now this week we'll get ready to go up to Birmingham to play Sanford. One of our 2 games in Birmingham. So we're looking forward to competing against them. Haven't played them in quite some time. So now it's a good game against an out-of-conference opponent.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Mo Carter.
Coach, congratulations on the victory. Just want to know how important it was for your offense to establish that rushing attack, along with Daquan Kinsey having the big game that he had, including that breakaway touchdown that really kind of set the tone.
Yeah, Kenzie's been running well the first couple games, and even in this game early on, just told him that we needed some grown man type runs, and he responded. I think a lot of times when you have guys that you're coaching for the first time, he's a kid that's a fourth year guy but transferred from Clark Atlanta. You're still trying to figure out how do you motivate a kid, whether you scream at him, you pat him on the back, you give him a hug, and so it was good to know, hey, what buttons to push to get him to get that extra, and then he went back out there and did it. So hopefully. He'll be getting going with that type of stuff. But running the football is going to be big for what we have to do, especially when you have young quarterbacks playing.
At the end of the first half, there were several penalties that I know for sure that you were not happy about. What did you talk to your team when it came to making those mistakes that kind of cost your team some points near the end of the first half?
Yeah, there were a couple of tough ones. I thought some of those calls could have went either way, but we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can so that way you take it out the officials' hands. You don't want it to be a gray area. You want it to be 100% your way, so that way you don't even have to worry about if it's called or not. But I thought the kids did good to overcoming that adversity. We had a punt return that could have went for a touchdown that was called back with Robert Williams, and so Robert McMahon. And so it was one of those things that's a great learning experience. It was good coaching experience. One of them, the kid's helmet came off, and he stood there for a long time, but then he started moving towards the play. And I think had he just stayed there, of course, it wouldn't have been called back. So it wasn't a block in the back. It was just one of those things. You coach it, you tell it, but then it has to actually happen in the game. So it's a great learning experience in week 2 with a game that you won as opposed to something that cost you a ball game.
Let's go.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How are you doing today?
Good morning. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Your team responded with 4 takeaways in this game. Tell me about the actual 2 interceptions and the actual 2 fumbles that Miles lost in this game.
Yeah, so we challenged them at halftime. Defensive coordinator, Coach Ryan Lewis, myself, we had went 6 quarters without a turnover. So we had no turnovers in the first game. In the first 2 quarters, we had none. So we had 6 quarters with no turnovers. So turnovers, they come in bunches. Seem like once you get the first one, they just kind of start happening. James Burgess was one-on-one coverage. Fade ball, made a great job, athletic play, interception, and we expect that of him. He expected that of himself. Edmund Scarborough, he had one that was, Amon Scarborough, good interception, had a good return on it, a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And of course, Traquan Thomas, I think he can be the sack leader in the conference. He's that type of guy, has that kind of talent. And for him to get those sacks, got 3 sacks, I think 1 or 2 forced fumbles. And so those type of things is contagious. And once you get those turnovers, kids start to expect them, everything you're preaching in practice, and they see it happen in the game, and now they really believe it.
All right. Appreciate you for your answer, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. You talked about the way James Hayes played for his first time out on Saturday. How did you guys get him prepared to play, and why did you guys think he was prepared to play in this game on Saturday?
Yeah, he's a super confident kid and comes from that South Florida area, Coconut Creek High School. Him and Jamari Holsclaw both played in high school together. So it's one of those things where you just kind of get a feel that this kid can be something special. I mean, you got that feeling when he first came up here in the summer, but of course, he was sitting there at third string, didn't have a lot of opportunities. So once he knew he was up, I mean, he just kind of takes it. Some quarterbacks, they kind of have a it factor. I think you can only coach a kid so much to be a good quarterback. The rest of it, they just have to have it. And I think he has that it factor where he has the confidence. The first practice he was in, after the practice, he called it up and he had the break on Swarm is One, and everybody just went with it. And so nobody told him to do it. He just felt like, I'm the quarterback, it's my time to do it. So I think he has a lot of those intangibles that you want from a leadership standpoint. And at the same time, he's still a real humble kid. Yes, sir. No, sir. Great parents. They raised him well. Everything he does is with a lot of respect, always willing to learn. And so he's going to make a lot of mistakes, but he's one of those type of kids where he'll correct the mistakes and he'll listen to coaching. And that's what you really want from a young guy.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. All right, we got another question from Kendrick Marshall.
Okay. Yeah, as a quick follow-up about your quarterback situation, with Andrew out and Jonah, who didn't play on Saturday, and you You had James play on Saturday. What's the outlook moving forward for the position?
Yeah, I think right now it's James and Zach. And so two freshmen. James would be the first guy. Zach would be the second guy. And it was really important for us to get Zach some of those reps. We wanted to definitely get him in the game. He's a play away. And so we'd have to just be smart, teaching those guys how to throw the ball away, don't take unnecessary hits. And the offensive line, when you have young quarterbacks playing, then you have to step it up. You got to keep the uniform clean. So they did a good job of running the football, making sure that the kids didn't get hit. And, of course, we didn't pass as much as we would have. But I think going forward, I mean, the whole playbook is open to them. Both of them are really smart kids. They're both really confident. They've been pushing each other since they've gotten here. And so now you just went from being 3-4 to 1-2, but the competition has been among both of those guys to see who was going to be the third quarterback. So now it's the same competition. And but James is the guy that's going to start it off. And then, of course, Zach will come in afterwards.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, I apologize if you have already answered this, but what is the potential future for Andrew? Is he looking at another year, or is there an appeal y'all can make to the NCAA?
Yeah, I'm sure he can get the medical red shirt. We really haven't discussed that. That's way off. I think the biggest thing is great kid, and after the injury, in the locker room, you just you felt bad for him because we know how hard he's worked. I mean, he has worked. I mean, he has like a linebacker mentality. The way he worked this offseason, running hills, lifting weights, doing everything extra that we asked of him in the classroom, on the football field, and was truly a leader of the team. And I think he still is. People still look to him. He's on the sideline. He's coaching up James and everything. But you just feel bad for a kid when he has an injury in the very first game, doing what he loves to do. But he's on track to graduate, which is great. That's what I told his parents. Hey, I can guarantee he'll graduate. And I think from that point on, he just has to rehab and get himself ready to play. But I'm expecting him to play more football at Alabama State, and that's the expectation going forward. But for right now, we just have to get him healthy and help him, keep him to be a part of the team. He was there on the sideline with the meetings the night before at the hotel, and he's a big part of what we're doing. And with those young quarterbacks, looking to a guy like him who's done it, I think that's going to be really big to have a extra coach on the field to just give them that little sense of confidence of it can be done.
Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Last question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little bit about the next man up mentality, the team galvanizing, banding together, and just collectively taking it 1 week at a time and just moving forward together as Hornets?
Well, and that's the thing, is it's kind of the swarm as one. Everybody has to pull together. It's unfortunate, when you have injuries at the quarterback position, because we know how important that position it is to a team. It's a leadership position. And so our motto has just been, hey, and we've had other injuries along the way. We had a couple other guys, broken hand, the guy missed a week here. So bye week can't come soon enough this year. We want to get a good game against Sanford, come out of there with a win. That's our goal. But after that, we have to get healthy. And we have a lot of guys that'll be coming back at the right time. But for right now, we're just kind of pulling together and supporting each other. And I think the type of football that we play, where you lead with special teams and defense, you can have a guy or two miss in those positions and the team can still move. And then the offense, they know that they have to get it moving. But as a unit, running the football, that's still like a team sport. We still have 4 or 5 running backs who can run the football, some really talented receivers. So I think we tried to build a team where one person wouldn't make the whole team crumble. So everybody has to just pull together, coach a little harder, play a little harder, and nobody's going to feel sorry for you for injuries. It's part of football. It's an unfortunate part of it. But every team in the conference, every team in the nation is going to have injuries that they're going to have to overcome. It's just we're having them early. So let's just get used to it and play football.
All right, Coach. Have a blessed week, and good luck with everything.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Absolutely. And definitely want to tell Coach Maynor, my good buddy up there in Huntsville, man, congratulations on that 100th win. I'm going to put something in the mail to you.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate it, Coach. We now go to Alcorn State. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. If there are questions in the queue, we ask that you please limit your question to just one initial question. If we do get additional time, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Thomas with Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, just want to thank you for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Vanderbilt.
Yes, sir. Ventured up to Nashville to face a new and improved Vanderbilt ball club. Started out defensively. Those guys got a big stop, got in the red zone and held them to 3. Offense got a first down, punted the football, and offense went down. Their offense went down and scored. And so that first half, we want to kind of be slow and methodical offensively. Just kind of bleed the clock. Same thing Coach was just saying. Getting out healthy. But also giving ourselves the best opportunity to win. Defense played lights out and gave us a chance for the duration. Offense, did some good things and improved from the week prior. Special teams, for the first 3 quarters, we improved. We didn't get a punt block. Had one return for a touchdown late. Once we started to fill in some holes with some new guys, some younger guys that we wanted to play. But overall, I thought we got better from week 1. We got out healthy. That was the first and foremost, and played a lot of guys on all 3 phases. And so, after these first 2, I like where this team met. Great mentality. Guys are playing hard, and was excited about the effort. And so, we got another tough one this week, and we'll be up for it. So we can't wait to get on the Edward Waters and be at home and get off this road and get a victory.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Thomas, I hope you and everybody on the reservation are well. Talk a little bit about the jump in your team's progress between week 1 and week 2 and what you're seeing so far with your team as you coach them up and put your stamp on this program.
Just going per unit, defensively, the play calling was a lot more advanced. Look at that offense, and they scored some points against Virginia Tech, and I thought Coach Rowe and that defensive staff did a really good job of putting a game plan together. When you look at some of those calls, I think it maybe anywhere from 20 to 25 defensive calls. Without just a third down, exotic looks. I thought they did a really good job versus that. Offensively, we wanted to kind of slow it down a lot more and kind of bleed the clock a little bit. Played 3 quarterbacks actually. In all 3. Did some good things. I thought we improved just from a pass pro standpoint, not giving up any sacks, and didn't run it like we wanted to, but give kudos to them with some of those big guys they had up front. But I thought offensively we cut down the mistakes from the prior week in special teams. We had a punt block in week 1, and we didn't this week, and so I thought we got better in all 3 phases, and that's what we wanted to see. Our whole mantra is, per week, get better each practice, each day, and I thought we did that for the most part. And so the mission, the vision, it stays the same no matter who we play. We want to continue to worry about us and in the locker room and in this building and give ourselves all opportunities to be successful, once the game is over.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You too, sir. Thanks.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm blessed. What's up with it, Doc?
I'm doing good. Your team was 1 for 11 on third down efficiency. What are some things that you're going to try to remedy to make sure that you can keep a drive successful, or to try to keep yourself out of the situation for going for third down a lot?
We got to be efficient on first and second down. When you get into some of those negative plays on first and second down, it really puts you in a bad situation on third. And then when you talk about that level, both Power 5 and Group of 5, those guys got a lot of sub packages and give you a whole bunch of exotic looks that you don't really see a lot of, and it's hard to pick up. And so we got to put ourselves in better situations on first and second down. And Coach Gales and that staff in the lab right now, ready to remedy that. Just doing some things, whether bringing guys in closer, or spreading guys out. But ultimately, that's just winning first and second down. And so I think if we can do that, and we can cut that number down to where it ain't third and long all the time, we get some third and shorts and get some third and mediums, and then we execute those. I think that'll just put us in a better situation. And so third down is important. One, we keep the defense off the field, but also maintain drives. And so we got to do a better job, than we've done these first 2 weeks. And we expect to start that just with the practice aspect of it in the morning and continue to get better and get that number, at least to 50, percent of completion on third down.
And my follow-up question is that you got Edward Waters coming in. They're coming off a loss against Florida Memorial. What are some things that you're going to try to do as far as put pressure on the quarterback in the game on Saturday?
Those guys do a great job. And anytime you play anybody from Florida, you're always thinking about speed. And so you got to be mindful of some of the pressures. They got a really good screen game. Played a bunch of quarterbacks and does a really good job in the screens and draws. And so we got to be selective on when we get after the quarterback, and also got to, take care of athletes. Got a big time athlete, number one, that they play in space and do a lot of good things with. So we got to know where he is. And there's a lot of other speed out there also. So I know Coach Roy have a good game plan, but we also got to rattle who's ever, the trigger man back there to get the ball to the offense so we can have a better execution piece on offense so we can get some points and get a chance to, get this thing headed in the right direction.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Morning, Coach.
Morning, sir.
I wanted to ask this question. I want to kind of follow up on the question about Edward Waters. They did stumble this past week, but this is a team that turned over Morehouse 9 times in week 1. What is it especially you see with regards to their defense?
Speed. Got a lot of speed at all 3 levels. They play fast. They play reckless. They do a really good job in space. And so you can tell those guys are being coached up really well. Takeaways for them is a major part of what they do. And so we got to be mindful of the football, knock on wood. The first 2 weeks, we hadn't had any fumbles. Got to clean up the interception aspect of it. But those guys going to be ripping at the football, trying to get it out. And you can tell that they're being coached the right way. And so we got to do a good job of protecting the football. It's the name of the game, and it's the most important component, of the game. And so we got to maintain all the possessions and end them with a kick, from a third down standpoint. And so we got to do a really good job of making sure those guys don't take the ball from us.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. Through the first 2 weeks, you played 2 Power 4 schools, and now this coming up week, you're going to play a level down. How much can you assess your ball club with the variance in opponents you played so far this season?
That's yet to be seen because we hadn't played it yet. I'll be able to gauge through practice and how these guys prepare. For us, it's us versus us. And I know a lot of people say it, but when we get up and look in the mirror, that's who we're concerned with. The fight is within. And so regardless of who on the sideline, we got to do a better job of just executing at a high level and doing what the coaches and everybody in the Utopia is asking, of them. And so I think we can do that regardless of who's on the sideline. We got enough talent on all 3 phases to be successful. And we're still waiting to just put that winning recipe out there. And so for us, it's still a challenge to be able to just go out and work and get better. But when you got the Malachis of the world and Truck Griffiths, those guys is keeping both sides of the ball, on the up and up. And so now we just got to give them good game plans and go out here and execute. And whoever's, we're playing against, we just got to do our job and maintain the high level and the standard that we set for ourselves.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we're going to go over to Bethune-Cookman and Coach Woodie. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please keep your lines muted unless you're actively asking a question, and please wait till you're called upon prior to asking your question. With that being said, we're going to get connected here with Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Appreciate your patience. All right, do see that we have Coach there with us. Good morning, Coach. I think you're on mute there, Coach.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Mercer.
First, I want to congratulate Coach Maynor for his 100th victory. I mean, that's big time, well-deserved. Opportunity to play home, against Mercer, which is, really good program. Obviously got a lot of tradition. Ended up winning the toss, deferred the second half, had a key stop on defense. Obviously, got the ball on offense. We potentially, just looking at overall summary, had 4 scores in the first 5 drives. Not the standard 2 turnovers, 1 in the red zone, had 3 drops on explosive and potential TDs. On the defensive side of the ball, went 8 for 12, 3 third down, 75%, had 2 fourth down stops, 3 sacks, 2 TFLs, 1 interception. I thought we played, solid, but we had too many negative plays, on the offensive side of the ball. Special teams, we played well on punt. Obviously, we got to get better on kickoff covering. Just those 3 aspects, I see a lot of improvement based on just the technique, fundamentals, attention to detail, and obviously that would equal good execution of the plays.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Daytona are well. Saturday, you have an opportunity to go up to Western Michigan, to go up there and compete and get one. Just talk a little bit about the mindset and going up there and playing another football game.
Well, the guys, they come to work and go to work. Obviously they know what it is. I mean, when we grade film, each individual understands the whys, why they got a plus, why they got a minus. So they get it. I mean, just trying to get this team, in mind to understand that every time we play, we have to make mention of those aspects as far as technique, fundamentals, attention to detail, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And our guys, they're excited for the challenge. Another really good football program. Obviously when you play a bigger school, obviously it's going to be, bigger guys, stronger guys, faster guys. We got to go out and execute. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But our guys excited.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
You too.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good. Talk about your team going 0 for 11 on third down efficiency, and also the 3 turnovers that you had in the game. What are some things that you want to try to clean up before you head out to Western Michigan?
Well, obviously, we have to, protect, and then, we have to make, the right reads, and then put our guys in a situation where it's going to be more so, KISS method, and then not trying to do too much. And then obviously just with a lot of it, the 3 drops, I mean, those are 3 drops on explosive and potential touchdowns. And then obviously we can't give the ball away, when we're inside, the red zone, so it's just all about the technique and fundamentals, attention to detail that we must keep stressing. And when you do those type of things, then the game definitely would have been a whole nother conversation, so we're working on those things, working on us, and not worrying about our opponent. We have to get ourselves squared away. And once we do that, I thought Cam is going to be okay. I mean, his first game starting at the quarterback position, just trying to get that continuity on offense. And then obviously our defense play hard, but a lot of times, when you're 3 and out and, the defense got tired, but, that's not an excuse. We have to make sure that our guys in condition, because it may be other games like this and you don't want it to be, but we got to get things going on third down and even on offense as a whole.
I appreciate you for your answer, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Good morning, Coach Woodie. How are you? Ty Miller with Power News Radio Network and Black College Football Week. How are you doing this morning?
Great. How are you?
I'm good, Coach. When you look at the Broncos, they lost big to Ohio State this past week, but 2 weeks ago, they went into Camp Rambling and played a Wisconsin team really tough and lost only by 14 points. Which team do you see when you look at the Broncos?
Well, I tell you what, they have a really good football team. I mean, they're big up front. They got long, fast, athletic guys on the perimeter. Got a good quarterback that sees everything. 6'6", 215-pound guy. On defensive side of the ball, man, really smart. I mean, they're gonna fit their gaps. They're gonna cover 3 type 10. It's gonna try to keep everything in front of them and tackle well. They don't make a whole lot of mistakes. When you get, like I said, you play a team like that, I mean, obviously they're going to be bigger, stronger, and faster. I mean, you guys got to make sure you get to the point of attack before they do, with good leverage and good technique and fundamentals. And like I said, they're a really good football team. Ohio State, I mean, they're 2 in the country. I mean, and they had some chances, just like any other opponent or any other person that you see. I mean, if you capitalize on those opportunities, the game will be a whole lot different. But a lot of respect for that program, and they're going to be ready. They played 2, Power 5 schools, and like I said, they're up in MAC conference, and they're a really good football team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman?
Andrew, I do have another question, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Coach Woodie, Western Michigan also at times in several of the ball games, even in the past, they sometimes do trickeration. Some teams do that, and as a matter of fact, against Wisconsin, they pulled off a fake field goal, which is real successful. How key is assignment football for your players when it comes to special team situations?
It's always a key. I always say, it's all about those 5 A's. Alignment, assignment, adjustment, alerts, and then the attack mode. So we have to be ready in all aspects, because they will do a lot of things that may be unusual in comparison to others. So they take chances, and obviously they're good when they take those chances. So we got to be ready.
And finally, Coach, in Notre Dame's game, there were a couple of questionable calls in the Irish's favor late in that game, according to instant replay. When you go into on the road situations against opponents that are heavily favored and they sometimes appear to get calls, how do you keep your team focused on just play the next play?
Well, we always try to put them in adverse situations in practice, because a lot of times, like I tell the guys, you're not going to get every call that you think you should get. So, that's why you play the game. I mean, you play hard, fast, long as you can, and don't worry. You just have to keep that mentality, and everything else will work itself out. Because what happens is, I tell the guys all the time, don't let one negative play affect the next. So you play that play, and then get ready for the next play with a clean mind, and getting ready to compete and win that play. Don't let one negative play bleed into the next. And we talk about that all the time in practice, and put them in adverse situations. So you have to do that, because everybody think that they deserve the best calls. You're not going to get the best calls. I mean,
thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, you guys are going to go into this week's game against Western Michigan without a win. You scored 5 points in the last 2 weeks. And you talked about early in the season how the guys need to be a little bit more desperate, considering like there's people out there trying to take your job, everything like that. How do you think the team has responded to the sense of urgency you kind of came in with during the regular season?
Well, just looking at, we have several people, obviously at that quarterback position, and we're trying to find, obviously, continuity, and obviously still trying to learn who we have and what we have. I mean, those guys, they're coming to work, going to work, and they know that we just got to keep getting better. It's all about getting better, not worrying about, the next opponent, getting ready for us to work on those things that I said earlier, with all of the technique and the fundamental and attention to detail. And I really think that they're responding to, if you don't show, then the next guy is going to step in. I mean, whether it's a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So those guys, they understand that, we're going to play the best. And those guys who compete, and whether you're playing a group of 5 or Power 5 or FCS, We want you guys to play the type of ball that we know that's going to be a winning ball, and that's doing things the right way, and that's where we're at right now.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Florida A&M. If you do have questions for Coach Colzie, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Colzie with Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Miami.
Well, obviously, it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. We 13-game winning streak ended. We got a locker room over there that our locker room hasn't really dealt with very many losses, but obviously played a really, really good football team, really, really good players, great coaching staff with the University of Miami. But excited to just get back and correct and evaluate and see where we are as a football team. Moving forward, got a bye week, so we'll concentrate on making sure we're getting ourselves healthy and then getting ready for Troy next week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to G. Thomas.
Hey, what's going on, Coach?
Hey, G, what's going on?
Not much. First, happy bye week. Happy bye week to you, Coach. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe through these first 3 games, what have you may have learned about your team, and what have you learned as a head coach here at FAMU?
I think as our football team goes, we've been able to handle ourselves going through some adverse situations and being able to overcome them. I think us working situations throughout our practice, throughout training camp, and throughout the week has really been beneficial to us because we've been successful in a lot of the situations that we worked on. Ultimately, as a head coach, what I've learned, just continue to learn my guys, right? I've obviously been around them for about 6-7 months, once being named the head coach, but just continue to learn about our players, right? We're using this week to truly find out what makes our players tick. We understand that each player on our football team needs maybe a different type of learning device or different type of way to learn and understand the material. So we're doing a good job of that this week. But overall, excited, happy to be in this opportunity, blessed to be in this opportunity, and obviously there was a lot of prognosticators that felt we wouldn't be 2-1. So they thought our record would be a little bit differently. So I'm happy to be 2-1 as we get ready for Troy next week.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the highest of 7 Hills are well. When you look at there's the HBCU side, the road to the Celebration Bowl, and then there's when you play up, so to speak, Miami or Troy or whoever. But just talk a little bit about those opportunities. And again, next team up is Troy, and there's an opportunity there to win a game.
Well, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing for our guys, and we spoke about it once before we played the University of Miami, was just kind of eliminating all the other things that didn't necessarily have anything to do with football. Obviously, you're playing at Hard Rock, you're going to be playing in front of a big time crowd against a big time football team. But once we kind of realized that we could play with them, we were already kind of down a little bit. But I think you get a chance to play up. You get a chance to show what FAMU is all about. We obviously have some players with aspirations to play at the next level, so they got a taste and a chance to understand that type of environment. If you could play in that type of environment, there's a possibility where you could play in an environment where you're playing in the NFL. So, you get a chance to play those guys, and obviously I got quite a few friends on that staff, and it was important just to see where we are as a football team and where we're trying to get to for the totality of the program. Now, we move on to Troy. We've already looked at their first 2 football games. Obviously, they got a really, really big football game coming up. When they play Iowa this week, they're going to be trying to get a win this week and then trying to get a win next week. And we're exactly the same. We want to have the opportunity to be able to start a new streak. The standard that we've set for ourselves throughout my time being here, and obviously with Coach Simmons being the head coach previous years, where we don't lose very many games, and we haven't lost, and necessarily we haven't lost the way we lost Saturday. So our veterans, doing a great job of making sure they take a stranglehold of what we're supposed to be doing. Guys did a great job yesterday as we went through film. We do have our off day today, but our coaching staff is going to spend some time with them just to again just to know him, get to know him a little bit better, and so we can get ourselves going in the right direction.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
How you doing, Coach? Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Yes, I'm good. There was a play where you was in the red zone in the first half, in the first quarter, where you could have cut the lead from down to 8, but the drive stalled out and you had to go for the field goal. Tell me about what happened in that sequence and what are some things you're trying to do to remedy that for the next opponent?
Well, we called timeout before we went out, right? We were going to try to spread them out. We knew it was going to be tough to get in the way we were trying to get in. So we called timeout just to get our bearings straight, to make sure we had what we wanted, and we had the call that we wanted. We shifted to go to an empty set. Excuse me, not to an empty set. We shifted our tight ends and our wide receivers out there. We were going to go QB sneak, and it was going to be a hard count first, and then we were going to go on sound with our quarterback and our center. So we didn't execute the way we wanted to execute. Our running back moved. He really had no bearing on the play because it was going to be a QB sneak. We got what we wanted, but obviously our running back, he moved ahead, and we had a costly 5-yard penalty. Then we ran our next play, right, and then we didn't get what we needed. So I wanted to make sure we ensured that we had some points with going with the field goal. Now, if we would have went third down and went QB sneak and didn't get it at the 1, we had already had conversations about going for it. So we just didn't execute what we wanted at that time. I like us shifting, getting them spread out, and then we were supposed to go, like I said, go on first down, and our center couldn't hear it. And then we ultimately didn't get the snap, and then we had the 5-yard penalty. So unfortunate for us, something that we need to build on, something that we need to learn from. We've already talked as an offensive staff about what we need to do better. But yes, we as opposed, we knew field goals weren't going to beat the University of Miami. It's probably a little bit of a different momentum switch if it's 15-7 as opposed to 15-3. But lesson learned. We were going into that end zone where it was really, really loud, but we just didn't execute on our end.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, I want to go back to the very first question you were asked in this session about evaluating your team during the bye week. How realistic do you have to be that your team, despite being 2-1 and despite the expectations, aren't kind of where you want them to be just yet?
Well, our record-wise is where I want them to be, but there are some things as a football team I think we could still be doing better. We're negative. We're in the minus side in the turnover margin, right? And that's something that standard-wise what we want to be. We haven't had a turnover yet defensively, where we've had a couple of turnovers offensively. Offensively, we talk about just taking care of the ball a little bit better. And we've had a couple of times where some fumbles have happened and we didn't lose them. So that's an emphasis for us offensively, just taking care of the football. Defensively, our emphasis is continuing just to get better with our communications. We had a couple blown coverages, which again, you get those type of situations against the caliber of a football team like the University of Miami, they made us pay. So, for us, it's just bettering ourselves just structurally as a team, bettering ourselves structurally, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. So it just gives us a chance, an opportunity where we're not necessarily preparing for Troy. We're actually, for tomorrow's practice, we're just going to prepare for ourselves. We're going to go good on good against each other with nothing involving Troy. So we're just working on our fundamentals, making sure we do what we need to do to get ourselves in a better spot.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you. That's a great question, by the way.
Got time for one more question for Coach. All right, last question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Power News Radio Network and Black College Football Weekly.
Good morning, boss. How you doing?
I'm good, Coach. Being that it's an off week for your players and with the election right around the corner and a lot of misinformation or disinformation in the Black community, particularly among Black young men, do you speak to your players about that? Or have they had any advice from the college about this upcoming election and how important it is for them and just for the nation as a whole?
Well, I'm always going to stress our guys to use our voice, right? Use our voice and opportunity to vote. Never going to tell them who to vote for, but we have it in place where normally when the day of the election, right? We're not going to practice because we give them that opportunity to make sure that they do have that opportunity to get out and vote. So it's just something that our historically, right? People, my family, my grandparents and great grandparents, people that have fought for this opportunity. I'm going to continue to stress to them the same way that they'll stress to me. Please use that voice to vote for who you may want to vote for. So that's what I will do to ensure that our guys get out. Can't tell them who to vote for, but I can definitely make sure that we give them every opportunity to make sure that they use that right.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
I appreciate you guys, and even though we're in a bye, man, I wanted to say good luck to everybody.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Next, we're going to go over to Grambling State. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature. If there are several questions in the queue, we're going to ask you to please limit your questions to just one question. If we've got time, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered, but we want to give many opportunities for questions as possible. So please, if you could, please limit those questions to one question if you see additional questions already in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Tuskegee.
Well, it wasn't clean for 60 minutes. We thought we played a good, maybe 15 minutes, maybe of good football. The first half, we didn't play well with the middle eight. When we talked to the team about it this morning before we went out to practice, about the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, we thought we did well. The third quarter, the first 4 minutes, we didn't play very well. So we got to do a better job. I got to do a better job as a head coach. My assistants got to do a better job as assistant coaches, and the kids got to do a better job of dominating the last 4 minutes of the second quarter and coming out after halftime and getting ready to go. And it was a 37-3 or 37-10 at halftime. And we came down. We didn't play very well the second half, but that's on me. We will get fixed.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We've got several questions already in the queue, so please limit your questions to one initial question. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Perry, how you doing?
Super fantastic. Congratulations on your first victory as the Grambling State University head football coach.
Man, I appreciate it. And it was a wonderful feeling for me and my family. For the coaches, for the kids, for everybody that's involved in the organization. It was a great time out there.
Talk about the environment of being in the stadium, having them in the hole and winning that game.
Well, it was a great crowd. It was a great crowd. It was a good atmosphere. The students came out. We had a lot of students out. The band was playing. We got a brand new school. The atmosphere was there. We just got, like I said, we need that same energy every home game, but it was wonderful.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Grambling State University are well. Talk a little bit about the offensive side of the ball, the production there, getting that victory, and congratulations, by the way.
Oh, James, thanks a lot. I thought the offense for us putting the ball in the air, I thought we threw the ball well. We didn't run the ball the way I thought we should have ran the ball. We got to do a better job of getting the hat on a hat. We got to do a better job in protection, but we have some explosive kids outside the box. So we know if we get the ball in these kids' hands early, now we got to tackle the throw. So we have faith in our kids that they can win one-on-ones out in the perimeter. So we got to continue to do that, but we got to do a better job on offense of running, establish the run. We have two of the best backs that's in the league. When you talk about Bull and you talk about Trey, they're two big-time backs. So we got to do a better job up front, getting the hat on the hat to get those guys going. You got to be able to establish the line of scrimmage in a game of football, in the football games that you need to win.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
You too.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing? Congratulations on your first win in SWAC.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate you, man.
Anytime. I want to talk about the second half where you were up 37-3 at halftime, but in the second half you went scoreless. What are some things that you want to try to remedy for the next game coming up this coming weekend?
Well, first of all, we got to cut down on the bonehead penalties. Some penalties I think we talked about the holding, the offsides, the pass interference, the hand to the face mask. We can fix all that, but when you get unsportsmanlike conduct, you get a personal foul, that's selfish, that's on you. You got to fix that. And so we're going to put that in the kid lap when they get those things. And, you can run them till you blue in the face, but it comes to a point where when they get them, you got to really sit them down. So we got to clean that up, and then we got to be more productive in the second half. Coming out, 37-3 and not scoring the second half. That's what we talked about the middle eight. We went flat the second half. And I thought, we tried to talk to him about the game being over, but I don't know if they've been up like that in a while. We got to finish the game, and we'll clean that up and we'll fix that part. But we got to keep working. We got a lot of work to do. Like I said in my press conference, I don't think we're a very good football team right now, and I got to do a good job as a head coach to get us where we need to be. But right now, we're just going to keep working, look towards Texas A&M Commerce.
You just answered my second question, but I appreciate you for doing that. And you have a good one, man.
Okay, you too.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Miles Crowley, talk about his production and what you were able to see in that young man throwing the ball around.
Well, I thought he managed the game well, just like I thought he managed the game well against Lafayette. I thought he hit some big throws. Also, just looking at the film yesterday and today with him, he understands that he missed some throws. So, my thing is with Miles, if a quarterback want to play on the next level, you can't miss throws. You can't miss the throws, especially throws us for touchdowns. But I'm happy with Miles' play right now. Miles is doing he's scoring over 95%. But me, I'm a perfectionist. I want him to hit every throw, and I think he should see every throw. And if he reads it, it's open. So Miles got to continue to do that. I told him he's got to put more pressure on those guys around him and his guys up front. He's got to put more pressure on them, because I told him at the end of the day, after press conference, they're gonna ask for two people. They're asking for Mickey Joseph and Miles Crowley, and so he understands that. We're not looking for new friends. We're looking for somebody just to help us execute and help us win games.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, if you could talk about the upcoming opponent, Texas A&M Commerce.
Well, it was a team that went 1-11 last year, and they did the same thing we did. They flipped the roster. They got some really good players in there right now. We got on them yesterday. Our GAs and analyst guys been on them for a week, but we'll meet today and talk about them today. But it's a very good football team. They went to the West Coast twice. They went to play San Diego State. They went UC Irvine. So they're a really good team. They 0-2, but when you got to jump time zones, and especially going west, east don't hurt you as much. I think going west, because everything's later. So then when you get back, everything's earlier. So I think that that probably affected them going back and forth. But now they home. This is their first home game. It's going to be a live atmosphere. But they're a very good football team. They're well coached. They got some transfers in there, so they play multiple people up front on the offensive line. They press coverage with the corners. So overall, they're a better team than they were last year. And the 0-2 record don't let you know who they are. If you look at that 0-2 record, you can say, "Oh no," but they're a good football team, and we need to prepare for them, and they need to get our A game.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. You mentioned you're a perfectionist, and you mentioned that your football team, as of now, hasn't played up to your standard. What signs will you look for to let you know that your team is kind of turning the corner and playing the way you want them to play?
The first thing we got to do, like I said, we got to cut down on the bonehead penalties. We can't have stupid penalties, so we got to figure out how to fix that. Second, we got to make sure we're consistent every snap that way out there. We got to be consistent. And third, when we put our young kids in the game, our young kid have a responsibility of completing the game plan. We can't have drop-offs because we put the young kids in the game. We got to put the young kids in the game because we got to have game experience, and we got to have a team when these older kids leave here. So that's everything that we can fix, and we got to fix it as a coaching staff, and it starts with me, and we'll get it fixed. But we're looking for them to cut down on the penalties, be more consistent, win the middle eight, and then finish the game strong. So whoever we put out there, we put 11 on the field, we got to fight like tigers. Doesn't matter who's out there. If you're out there because we think you're responsible enough to be out there. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut it out. We're just going to stop putting them out there if they can't perform. And we'll see them in the spring, hopefully.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good day. Good luck to all you guys this week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Coach. Next, we're going to go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff and Coach Hampton. Once again, if you do have any question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please leave your line muted unless you're actively asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. Good morning, Coach Hampton.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's big home win there against Arkansas Baptist.
I mean, obviously, it's a good job by our team. Kind of like we said, going into the week, we know we're the better football team. They just transitioned. So went out there and took care of business in all 3 phases of the game. I think everybody played that was dressed. And so we're looking forward to this week.
Appreciate those comments. We've got several questions already in the queue, so we're going to ask for this first round. Please limit your questions to 1 initial question. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Hey, Coach. So obviously, first 2 weeks, you were playing teams at very different levels from you in sort of the college football pyramid. This week, FCS opponent, same level playing field. Obviously, I know you guys want to win the game, but beyond that, what do you want to see from these guys against a peer opponent to come away feeling confident that you'll be able to compete in the SWAC this year?
We feel confident we can compete. It doesn't matter because we're playing an FCS team. We're a good football team. And all our kids need to do is come out and play. We played these guys last year, had an opportunity to win the game. We didn't get it done. So it didn't matter that we were playing Arkansas Baptist or played the University of Arkansas. We've done a lot of good things offensively, defensive, special teams, and all the games we played this far. So our kids are confident. But it starts tomorrow in practice. They got to continue to watch film, and we continue to challenge them to become the best versions of themselves. So we're excited. Southern Heritage Classic, man, I don't know if it gets any better than this. So we're ready.
Next question goes to Mike Wallace.
Hey, Coach, thanks a lot for I was just about to ask you about the Southern Heritage Classic. You're coming back our way again. One thing that I've noticed about your team is that the resilience is there week in and week out. You showed that last year in the Southern Heritage Classic, fighting all the way to the end. The ground game and the running game was definitely on display this past weekend. What do you look for in this game against a physical Tennessee State team, and how do you define success in the Southern Heritage Classic?
Well, for us, I mean, obviously we'll have to win the line of scrimmage. I mean, their D line is really good. Their offensive line is huge, but I mean, we got some players on our offensive defensive line that can match those guys. We got really good running backs. Our quarterback's playing at a high level. Our defense made a lot of improvement. We got a young football team, but we're not going in there thinking that, as I told the guys, if we put you on the field, we expect you to play. And so we're excited about the opportunity to get to practice tomorrow. And man, I don't, like I said, it's a 2.5-hour drive. It's like a home game to us. So we're excited about it. And Coach George has done a good job. They played a bit, North Dakota State last week. Man, that's a tough get it right there. And so they'll be hungry to come back out and try to get a W. So we're excited about it.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You ran the ball efficiently, 32 carries for 320 yards, 10 yards a clip. Tell me how you're going to kind of repeat that in the game this weekend against Tennessee State.
But let's be honest, the game is always starts up front, and you got to be able to run the ball efficiently enough to get them off of you so we can throw the football. Man, we have some really, really talented receivers. So if you want to play man coverage, then, we got a quarterback who can throw it, and we got receivers that can flat out run. So I'm excited about that. We got 3 running backs that are pretty doggone good, and they all 3 bring something different to the table. 2 of those guys can take it the distance any time. If you get out of a gap, it could be 60, 70 yards at a time. And so I like where we're headed as a football program, but obviously this week is a tough week for us, but it's a good challenge. And again, it's exciting for the Golden Lions to be able to go back to Memphis. We got a lot of alumni there. I'm pretty sure they got all kind of parties. I've been seeing them online for the last year. So they're ready, but we're not worried about that. We just want to get the W. And so Coach George and his team did a good job last year, and they beat us by 10. They blocked the field goal at the end. We were trying to tie it up, and they blocked it with a scooping score, ended up being 24-14. And so, as the guy asked earlier, we are a resilient football team, but our young men know that, man, we got to get back in practice tomorrow and get ready to face a really good football team. But if we take care of business, we're going to have an opportunity to win the football game. So that's what we're excited about.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Hampton, I hope you and everybody in Pine Bluff are well. Talk a little bit about your quarterback, Hagens. He's had an opportunity to play against the Razorbacks as well as Baptist, and now he'll get a look from Eddie George's team, Tennessee State. Tell us about your quarterback.
Well, Mekhi, through 2 games, he hasn't thrown any interceptions. Last week, I mean, he was, I think, 15 or 22, and he had 5 drops for 350 yards. I mean, he's putting the ball where it needs to be put. He's understanding our offense. Coach Hall is doing a tremendous job with him, and the young man's playing with a lot of confidence. We played Arkansas. They got a couple sacks on him, but he got away from about 3 or 4 of them. The young man can play football. And so, you know, we're excited about him, his growth that he's shown, and now he got weapons all around him. Our offensive line is doing a really good job. And again, the challenge, I've challenged those guys to, man, you know, let us outrush Tennessee State. And, you know, so we're excited about that opportunity to go out there. And now everybody get a chance to say, okay, they played Baptist, they played Arkansas. And as the question was asked, what kind of football team do you have, Coach? Well, guess what? We're going to see on Saturday. We get an opportunity to go out there and play a really good football team. And I think the Golden Lions will be ready. You know, but it starts in practice on tomorrow. And our kids got to come focused and ready to go.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning.
Your opponent this week is kind of similar to you in that they've played games in that, you know, there were 2 ends of the spectrum in terms of the final outcome. In looking at how they were last year, you know, having a 2 quarterback system, and now it looks like they just got a single starter. Can you talk about how different the preparation is in looking at where they just have 1 quarterback in play as it is trying to prepare for 2 different quarterbacks?
Well, I mean, I think we've all watched the film. The film is the film. They still play 2 quarterbacks. The first quarterback's pretty good. He can run and he can throw it. Then they bring in another guy. When he comes in, he runs it most of the time. So, I mean, I don't know what their situation is. I really don't care, honestly. We'll be prepared for both of them. But they got really good receivers, really good running backs, and they're a good football team. Don't get me wrong. But we just need to play assignment football. And obviously, when 21 gets in the game, he's been shown to run the football. But come on, everybody knows he can throw the football. And the other young man, he's a pretty good quarterback. And he's done some really good things. You watched him when they played Mississippi Valley. He made some throws, and he was able to get out of some pressure looks and things of that nature. But again, man, it's college football. And we're in the SWAC, and you know, we got really talented quarterbacks in our conference as well. And so it won't be a big deal, but we just got to do our job and keep the ball in front of us. And when we blitz him, we just got to get the sack, because the young man, he does look to throw the ball when he gets out of pocket.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. Tennessee State will be one opponent you will be facing for the second time in as many years. How much does it help in terms of preparation to know your opponent leading up to a game?
Well, obviously, like you said, that's a big help to us. When I say help, like we got game film when we played them last year. They still got some of the same players. And so it's not like it'll be new to us. You know, I think they got a new coordinator, but obviously they do a lot of the same stuff we do on offense. So they'll spread team at times. They'll give 12 personnel. They'll run the football and they'll use the quarterback. So it's typical of SWAC football. You know, they just in another conference.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Hey, thank you. And congratulations to Coach on his 100 victory, Coach Maynor.
Appreciate it, Coach. Next, we're going to go over to Mississippi Valley State and Coach Wade. Once again, if you have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Good morning, Coach Wade.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Lamar.
Yes, sir. You know, we came up short. We fought for 60 minutes, but we had some early self-inflicted wounds that kind of put us behind, so we was playing catch-up. We had a couple of penalties, just pre-snap penalties that put us behind the chain. So it was an uphill battle for us pretty much the second half, but we put ourselves in that position. So we got to be better moving forward. But we've turned our attention to Murray State, and we're excited about getting an opportunity to go out there.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, we'll open up for questions. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Wade, good morning. How you doing today?
Hey, Doc, good morning.
All right. There's some things in this game. I watched this game primarily on my phone, but there was some times in this game where you had a chance when you was in the red zone to actually make the game, to cut the lead down to a touchdown or to actually tie the game up. But I want to get your assessment on the interception that was called, but you felt like it hit the ground. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll tell you, yeah, it was 21-14 going into the fourth. We were going down not to tie the game up. We was going for 2, so we was going to win. So, we wasn't going there to play around. As far as the interception, it clearly hit the ground. You can see the black particles come up. They showed it on replay once and didn't show it again on the Jumbotron. So, but it's part of the game, man. We had a lot of football to play after that. I definitely don't think it was an INT, but they said it was, and it is what it is. We just got to execute it at a much higher level. We left a lot out there. We had a lot of drops. So we missed some things. So it was a bad call, but it happens, so, we can't really cry about that.
Andrew, do I have time for one more question?
Yeah, you do. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay. My second question is quarterback play. We always talk about this with quarterback play. I think as far as with Jaden, he's kind of separating himself from Tajarian. Speak on about his progression from game to game this season.
No, man. No, he did a great job. Like I said, our strength is on the perimeter, so he does a great job as far as getting the ball out to the playmakers. He throws such a catchable ball. We're a vertical passing team, so again, he throws with great touch, get a guy's opportunity to make plays. But that being said, Tajarian plays a great part in what we do as well. He's 6'4", 240, so there are some things that we use with him as well. So I think both of them are good for us. We're going to continue to play both of those guys. We're just trying to find the right rhythm to make sure that we don't affect the flow of the game when it comes to those two guys. But Jaden has done a really good job, man, and I'm proud of him, and he's getting better. But like I told Jaden, he needs to spend more time with the quarterbacks. A couple of those mistakes was just them not being on the same page. And I told them they just come with just spending extra time with the receivers so those guys understand and they seeing everything the same way. But he's done a good job. We're going to roll in with him this game. He'll be starting against Murray State as well. But Tajarian was play as well because there's some things that he brings to the table that Jaden just don't bring to the table.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Wade, I hope you and everybody back in the Delta are well. Your first 4 games are on the road. You're moving into week 3 at Murray State. Just talk a little bit about what you think of them, what you've seen so far, and then ball security for Valley as you move forward.
Murray State, good football team. They 0-2, and they're coming off a tough loss, so we know they're gonna be excited and they ready to get back out there. So we expect their best. They good up front on both sides of the ball. Number 0, the defensive end, he's a problem. So again, we're gonna have to game plan and make sure that we take care of that guy. They love running the ball. They got 2 good backs that can run the ball, and the quarterback, he's solid. He don't do anything major, but he don't lose football games. He do what he coached to do. Ball security, like I said, we just got to keep working on it. We emphasize, we work on it, but again, we just got to make sure that we're protecting the ball. We're a much better team when we got the ball in our hands, and we tough. When we don't, what we're coached to do, we're a tough team to deal with. But we sporadic with it, and we just got to be more consistent.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Wade? Final questions for Coach. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, thank you. All right, we are a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach McDowell's availability at 11:25. We'll pause here momentarily. Thank you for your patience.
I can see.
Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. If we do have several questions there in the queue, we're going to ask you to please limit your questions to just one initial question. If we have additional time, we're going to work our way back to try to get additional questions answered. But if you are asking a question, please limit to one initial question if there are plethora of questions there in the queue. Please also leave your lines muted unless you're actively asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, we're going to go over to Prairie View A&M and Coach McDowell.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Just
yeah, I'm still trying to get this video up. I apologize, but it's not letting me in.
Okay.
This new system they just came in and put in a couple of weeks ago, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
You guys want to do this? You guys want to go to someone else? Or you want to just continue?
Sure. No, we can continue there
Okay.
with just your audio. No problem.
All right. I truly apologize, guys.
Yes, sir. Coach, first off, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's big road win this past weekend over Northwestern State.
Yeah, I think, again, I'm really proud of our guys, the way we stuck in there and had those two goal line stances at the end to secure the game. Of course, they started off with a boom, very first place, played 73 yards, and we were able to bounce back again with Albert Thomas with our 42-yard bomb as well, and them just kind of going back and forth at that time. We just got to figure out going forward, and that's me on a head. I'm sorry, that's me as a head coach. I have to figure out how to get these young men to just play, as least mistake-free football as possible. A lot of things we did down the end, we were trying to give it back to them. Penalties that, again, spearing over from the first game that, that's costing us, to go out and win a game, convincingly and with a lot of confidence. Again, I can't say enough how proud I am of defense stepping up, playing 80-some plays and getting out there and holding these guys, a really good power team to goal line stances.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We've got several questions here in the queue for Coach, so please, once again, please limit your questions to one initial question. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus there are well. Congratulations on that victory. Just talk a little bit about going into Michigan State, the mindset, what you guys would like to do, and when you think about taking the SWAC brand up to the Big Ten, tell us about the Michigan State game.
Yeah, we're going into this week, expecting to win as always. We know we're going up against a powerhouse team, FBS team, and as I mentioned to these young men, prior to starting camp, every game that we play, you got to go in with mentality of winning, and I think we've established pretty much that we can move the ball when we need to and want to, and we do things the right way. But I know, as I told them, going against good teams and okay teams, anytime you get mistakes that we can take care of and not turn over or cause, defensively, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be a really good football team. But again, it's about us going out and just taking care of our business as an offense, and as a defense. I know we have to definitely get the running game going again. We established a good little running game this past weekend against Northwestern State, and we got to do the same thing against Michigan State. We know that they're big up front. They got 4-2 defense. With a stand up end, offensively, they're gonna give us big boy football. They're 11, 13, 12 pro style type offense. So we're gonna have to hit our gaps, and we have to be strong in those gaps, and we're gonna have to be able to tackle these guys.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week. Good luck up in East Lansing.
Thanks, Jay.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, B, what's going on?
Hey, I wanted to ask this question. What was the key to kind of unlock the running game in this game against Northwestern State, especially from week 1 to week 2?
Again, just guys, sustaining their blocks no longer. Again, just as I tell them all the time, whether it's offense, defense, you got to beat that guy across from you. If we want to have success, on offense, running the ball, you got to beat that guy across from your opponent, man. Again, it's big boy football, and at the end of the day, who's going to be the better athlete, for that play or for that series or for that quarter or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to go out, execute the call that is being called by the coaches, and beat that guy across from you, whether it's offense, defense, or one-on-one against the wide receivers.
Sure thing. Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, Doc.
Let's talk about the penalties that you amassed is 12 penalties for 124 yards. What did you tell your team afterwards about trying to make sure that we could clean up the play on the field?
Yeah, again, it's 2 games in a row that, we kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. And as I told us, we're going to get to the point where we're not going to be able to come back, because again, we're making, stupid mistakes, and they are crazy, stupid mistakes, and, these guys, got to learn how to go out and play football and understand that when the opportunity presents itself, we have that lead, we can't give it back, to our opponent. And again, just never know the way, the ball is going to bounce at the end. And, luckily for us, fortunate for us, it bounced our way in those 2 great defensive stops, in the end. But again, if we cut down on these mistakes, and believe me, we're going to get that as a coaching staff, we're going to get that situated real fast. So we started with that today. We just got to be able to, again, just sustain, confidence in these young men that, when we up, and we got that opportunity, we got to take full advantage of it and not give it back to our opponents to the point where, again, we make it close to where, the favor could fall for them instead of us.
Appreciate you, Coach.
This question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, Coach McDowell, how are you?
Hey, Lionel, what's going on, bud?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Came out this game obviously real tough. Like you made it a little bit tighter than may have had to been. Talk about your offensive line play. How do you think they improved from game one to this game? And also, what was your thoughts on Cam Peters and how he played, and especially how he bounced back from the 2 pick sixes?
Yeah, all line again. We got some guys, a lot of new guys. And I say new, meaning new to experience, not a whole lot of experience up there. But I think, I know coming into this game or to the season, we counted on these guys because again, we just asked these guys to get on their blocks, execute their assignment, with what Coach Wheaton wants them to do and Coach Green wants them to do, and let our good backs do what they do. Because again, you can just give them a small crease and shoot, they can do a lot of good things with the football if we just give them a chance. And that's all we ask, on the O-line, hey, just give us a chance, and let the guys do what they do. As far as Cam, again, yes, started off hot, absolutely, and had a great game, good game, should I say. Could have been a great game without the picks, but though that shows maturity again, coming back and, after you throw picks like that and coming back, and making the offense work in our favor. He's going to get better as we go forward, and we just looking for bigger and better things with Cam going forward.
And I just wanted to ask, so on that last drive, obviously you had a great punt, get down at the 1 yard line from Ethan Jasso. It seemed like on that first play, I think one of the cornerbacks got called for pass interference, but it almost looked like that may have saved the game because it didn't seem like there was safety help over top. What was going on there? Was there like a misalignment with the secondary, or what was going on there?
Absolutely right. You hit it on the head. There was misalignment that whole drive, and again, that's we as coaches gotta not take for granted that these young men know that where to be at, for the first time. Again, that was the first time we ever been in that particular defense, kind of like a prevent defense. And, as we was telling the safeties, we should have been off the field 3 times, with interception. But of course, they wasn't in the position to get the ball because of, for whatever reason. But again, we're going to correct that, and get better going forward, because again, we don't want to be in that position, and not come up with the plays, especially when you have the opportunity to do so.
Thank you so much, Coach McDowell.
Thank you.
Got time for one more question for Coach. All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Oh, good. I apologize, guys. Congratulations, Coach Maynor.
Appreciate it, Coach. All right, we're going to now go over to Southern University. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, as we already have several questions filling up in the queue at this time. We're going to go over to Coach Graves with Southern. I do see that we have Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you all?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's big win there versus Savannah State.
Well, we had a good win on Saturday against Savannah State here at home. It was our home opener. It was the Coach Pete Richardson Classic, and we had a great crowd. The atmosphere was electric, and guys, we came out and started off a little slow in all 3 phases of the game, but we got on track, and then we were able to come out with the win.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question will go to Jim Klein-Peter.
Hey, Coach. After looking at the film, I was wondering what your updated view on Xavier T-Set's performance looked like.
Hey, Jim. He played well. Still has made some mistakes, some things that he did um, that he has to work on, basically to make sure that he doesn't put himself or put the offense in a bad position. And he, like I said, he played the game well. He came in and gave us the spark that we needed, and we'll see what happens this week in practice.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning.
You started out kind of slow against Savannah State, but then in the second half, you revved it back, you revved it up. What are the things that you told your football team as far as trying to start off fast and continue to put your foot on the gas in order to breed success?
Well, I mean, we preached it from all week long before the game to not to play down, but we had to play up. And I don't think that we did. I don't think we came out with the mindset of playing up. And that's tough sometimes when you're playing down. You really want your guys to really focus on what they have to do and not the opponent. And the guys came out, and like I said, I thought we came out real sluggish and slow in all three phases of the game at the beginning. And I was disappointed that, at 16-7 at halftime. And, I went in and I told them, we gave a team life that, that shouldn't have been in the ball game with us at that time and point. And we're going to find out what we made of the second half. And the guys locked in and focused, and they understood that we were in a ball game. So we got things on track, and we were able to come out with the W.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the Boombox Classic and traveling to Jackson State. What do you expect from this Jackson State football team?
Well, I don't expect anything less than their best. Coach T.C. Taylor and I go back a ways, and he does a tremendous job with their program. I know those guys are going to be fired up and ready to go. Anytime that Southern and Jackson State gets together, whether it's in horseshoes or pitching marbles, we want to win. So I know the vet will be packed. The atmosphere will be electric. And he has a fine football team, and we have a fine football team, and we just got to prepare, get ready to go in and do what we need to do to give ourselves a chance to come out victorious.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. When you think about the defensive side of the ball going into Jackson State, talk about Jags defense going in.
Well, defense, the first two games have been playing really well. We've made some mistakes, but you can't ask for a better effort defensively. Last week, one first down. The only thing that I like to shut people out, and I was really upset that we gave up that one touchdown, and it was a big play. But outside of that, those guys played well. One touchdown held a team to 65 yards total offense, and that's how it's supposed to be when you're playing a D2 opponent. Even though they have a lot of talent, you expect it to play well and go in and do those things. And those guys really honed in and locked in to be 0 for 11 for us not giving up a third down conversion. That's huge. I mean, I can't dismiss that. So Coach Miller and the defensive staff have been doing a tremendous job of getting those guys ready to go. And it's going to take that type of effort to beat a good Jackson State football team, because they have a really good offense. They do a good job of executing the offense, and it's going to be a challenge for us to go in and play an opponent on that level. I know that they're going to be willing to try to crack the code of our defense of what we've done the last 2 weeks. So the challenge for our defense is to take it to even get a step better. So we're looking forward to it.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Coach Graves, really quick question. Right now, there's a tropical disturbance out in the Gulf that has the potential to be a hurricane by midweek. Spaghetti models are showing that it's going upper Texas coast through Louisiana. How much could that affect your preparation for this particular game against Jackson State?
Well, anytime that you have potential severe weather, you always have to plan ahead and do some things that you need to do in order to prepare. My thing is, you know, it's not here yet, so it's business as usual, and we'll make the adjustments as need be. But you know, I've being in Louisiana and in Mississippi at one time, you know, sometimes those models will show one thing and then it may do something totally different. So the mindset and the goal is to go ahead, stay mindful of what we have to do, and then we'll adjust based on, you know, what the weather does in the next few days.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, so last week we talked about your quarterback room, and I realized that there's no decision made yet on who's going to start against Jackson State. But you and your staff have been around football a very long time, and you all chose Noah Biden to be the starter. What did he display in spring training to make you all make that decision?
He displayed a what we asked him to do, the execution of the offense, made plays, showed leadership, the poise. So that's what it came down to. His experience at the time gave him the opportunity to lead the program.
And how are you all going to get him back to that point?
Well, we just have to sit him down and find out what's going on with him, and then once we find out what's going on, then we have to correct it and address it, and allow him the opportunity to fight his way out of the little slump that he's in. I mean, it's as in life, you gotta fight your way out of stuff. So we're gonna be there for him and give him every opportunity to work his way out.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any final questions for Coach? Final questions. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you. Congrats to Coach Maynor again, and go Jags.
Appreciate it, Coach. All right, we're maybe a minute or so ahead of schedule for Coach Dishman. We'll be back momentarily. All right, we're working to get connected to Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern. His availability is at 11:45, so we'll work to get Coach here on with us. We appreciate your patience. Well, we got some time. We will take a minute or two here just to go over the upcoming schedule for this week of SWAC football, Saturday, September 14th. Prairie A&M will travel to face Big Ten opponent Michigan State. That game will be played at 2:30 Central. Edward Waters will be at Alcorn State at 4 p.m. Central. Bethune-Cookman at Western Michigan at 5:30. Georgetown will be at Alabama A&M at 6. Mississippi Valley State will travel to face Murray State, kickoff set for 6 p.m. Arkansas Pine Bluff will be playing Tennessee State, 6 p.m. Southern will be at Jackson at 6. Grambling State will be at Texas A&M Commerce. That game will be at 6 o'clock. And Alabama State will be at Sanford in Birmingham. It's a 6 p.m. kickoff. The SWAC football head coaches media sessions are archived at the SWAC Digital Network YouTube page. So for any of you wanting to access recordings of these Zoom sessions, please feel free to visit us on YouTube at the SWAC Digital Network. All right, we are still working to connect with Coach Dishman with Texas Southern. We do apologize for the delay, and we appreciate your patience. Once again, for our media participants, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue. Please leave your lines muted unless you're actively asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question to our coaches. All right, I did just receive a message that coach is attempting to log in, so we'll try to get him here on the Zoom session with us. And if we are unable to get Coach Dishman here connected within the next minute or so, we will move his availability to after Coach Taylor with Jackson State. All right, we're going to give him another minute or so. I do appreciate your patience. All right, we will work to connect with Coach Dishman after Coach Taylor's availability. But once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question if there are several questions already in the queue when you ask your question. And looks like we have Coach Dishman connected. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll try to get Coach Dishman in here really quick. All right. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, could you start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Rice?
Well, that outing, it was tragic as it was, as bad as it was. We still have our goals in mind. Our goals is to win the SWAC and win in Atlanta. We still have our other two goals. We accomplished one of our goals by beating our arch rival Prairie View. Then our other goal was to win the SWAC, and our third goal is to win in Atlanta. So we still have other two goals out there that's very reachable goals for us. So even though the Rice outing was not outing on it, but it happened, and we can learn from it. It's good to get your butt kicked. I told our guys, I'm so glad in the second game we got our butts kicked. So now we can go back to the drawing board and let them see when we get prepared. We have a comparison between the PV preparation and the Rice preparation. When we prepare well, this is what happens. When you don't prepare well and you still answering questions about Prairie View a week or 2 weeks later, then that's what happens. So me as a coach have to learn. Instead of giving them a 24-hour rule, which is usual, 24-hour rules, you celebrate, and after that, you go on to the next one. I extended it to 48 hours because it's such a huge win. So I know now that not to extend it to 48 hours, because keep the 24-hour rule.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Dishman, I hope you and everybody in Houston are well. You get an opportunity for a bye week, and then you get Lamar. Talk a little bit about your football team, just the progression, improving after that first couple weeks.
Well, we have to get back to the basics. We have to get back to the grinding of our guys and making sure they understand that each and every week, even though it's not a rivalry, it's important. The preparation is important, how we prepare for the game, how we approach the game, and everyone has to be professional in how they handle situations.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach Dishman?
Mr. Bishop.
Really quick question. I wanted to ask, and I'm kind of following up on what you were saying. Do you think the team really, I guess they were drinking a little bit too much of the Prairie View Kool-Aid and it had a carryover effect to this game?
Sir, yes, I know they were. And me as a coach have to be able to settle them down and realize it's only one game. Even though everybody hyped it up to be the game of the century, it's only one game. And no matter if we beat Prairie View or lost to Prairie View, it's still one game. And we need to move on. And we have 10 other people on our schedule that's going to be hunting for us. Everyone picked us last in the SWAC, and I'm glad everyone picked us last in the SWAC. And I'm glad everyone not expecting much of us. But now going out and beat Prairie View, now we're on people's radar. Rice lost a big game last week. They got thumped last week. So we knew, as a staff, we knew they was going to come in hungry with a chip on their shoulders. We knew it as a staff, but now we have to relay it to our players and let them know that everyone is hunting for us now. We're not hunting for other people; they hunting for us.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
All right, got time for one final question. That'll go to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Dishman?
Mr. Mosley.
I want to ask about KJ Cooper. I know that he got tweaked in that first game. Didn't see him this last game against Rice. How is he doing? Is he going to be back for the upcoming game against Lamar?
Well, that was a game time. It was a game time decision we as a staff made, along with us as a staff made that game time decision. KJ, if possible, could have played. He's probably been limping. But our goal is to win the SWAC. Our goal is to compete in Atlanta. Yes, I wanted to beat Rice, and yes, I thought that with another quarterback, with Jace, he had the knowledge and experience to go in there and play and beat Rice. So KJ could have started last week. As a staff, we decided to sit him for one more week for he can get completely healthy, and then go on because we have Jackson, we have Lamar, then we start our SWAC conference play. So our job is to win the SWAC, go to Atlanta and win Atlanta. That's still our two goals.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
We're on a bye week. Okay. See you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Next, we're going to go over to Jackson State. Coach Taylor. Once again, if you have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Coach Taylor, thank you for your patience. Good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, Coach. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's big home win there over Lane.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for JSU football. Opening up our 2024 season with our first home game. Had a great performance by our football team in all three phases. They came out clicking on all cylinders, special teams, offense, defensively. Good crowd in there, WC Gordon Classic. It was just a great weekend for us, but always good to get that first win of the season and, start looking forward to our next opponent.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We've got several questions in the queue, so we're going to ask you please limit your questions to one initial question. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Taylor, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good. The people wanted to know what was the reason for starting Cam McCoy instead of Jacoby and Morgan on Saturday, and who are you going to name as your starter coming in for the Southern game?
The reason for putting Cam out there, we wanted to get him more reps in the Monroe game, those type games. And this game we played this weekend are good games for us to start to kind of gauge a lot of guys. We didn't get a lot of snaps for him. I think he only played one snap in the Monroe game. So we said we'd give him the nod in this one and get him out there and see what he can do. We got two guys here that are very good quarterbacks in Jacoby and Cam McCoy that we were excited about. So that was the thought process, get a good eval on them. But both young men played well in this football game. Going into the Southern game, we'll just go out here like we always do this week of practice, these next three practices, and evaluate these guys and make a decision on, who's going to get the nod going into this weekend.
All right. This question goes to Doc Holliday. Sorry.
I guess I could give, if I get one more question in.
I'm sorry. Let me work back around, Doc. I apologize.
Okay. No, you good. Go ahead.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in the capital city are well. 58, yes, sir. 58 in 3 quarters. You guys, just the outpouring of offense. Look at Cam and guys ran the ball and you threw it around. Tell us a little bit about that offensive firepower.
Yeah, starting with Cam, he came out and, he lit it up early. This kid has big time speed, but he probably throws the ball better than he runs it. He made some explosive pass plays, explosive run pass plays, so we just got some good offensive players here, and we've been waiting to, display those guys. Jonas Vertillion had another solid out, and Isaiah Spencer came on really well for us. Ma Miller found the end zone. When it's clicking at all cylinders offensively, you could just pretty much go down the call sheet and give them a play and let those guys go out there and execute it. Jacoby and Morgan, like we was just talking about, came in the game and he threw 2 touchdowns. So we got some guys that can really, get the ball across the end zone with speed, and they displayed that on Saturday.
Good luck, Coach. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, the Boombox Classic. Coach Henry Miller of the Southern University Jaguars, the defense coordinator, has their defense playing really, really well. What do you expect from that Jaguar defense?
They're a very aggressive unit. They're physical. They play fast, got some length and size over there for what we've been watching on tape. what I've seen so far. We'll continue to evaluate and put a plan together. But Henry is a really good defensive coordinator. He's been doing it a long time in this league. I can remember when I was at Central, he was at Prairie View, and he was had great defenses then. So he'll have those guys ready to play. But we'll continue to evaluate them, looking at some tape, breaking film down, and try to get together a solid plan going into this game. It's just going to be the team that go out there and don't beat yourself. Find ways to eliminate the turnovers and go out there and execute and try to get as many points on the board as possible. But a really solid defense, like I said, physical and got great length.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Hi, Coach. Yeah, would you expand on the quarterback battle? Is it really that close where you're having trouble deciding, or is this a case of wanting to get them both some playing time? And how do you use that going forward?
Yeah, just trying to get both of them some playing time. I think I'm a big believer going through a season. You gotta be, as a head coach, have two guys ready to play. Both guys are really good quarterbacks. You saw that this past weekend. Jacobian had a really good game, even against Monroe. But both are really good. But we're going to need both going down the stretch. Barn, you never know in this game with injuries and everything. So we want to have two guys ready to play at all time. And it's up to us as coaches to evaluate it and get the one out there that's going to help us win football games going forward.
Can you talk a little bit about their differences, their similarities and their differences?
Yeah, I mean. Well, if you look at Cam McCoy, he's just a young, great athlete that can throw the football. He's still a sophomore on the field. Hadn't played a lot in this league. This is his first time playing, a transfer from Eastern Michigan. Played some pretty good football up there for them, but very explosive football player that can throw the football a long way. Smart too, very intelligent guy. That gets the most. Knows how to spread the wealth with the receivers. Jacobian is more of a seasoned guy. He won games for us last year. Huge though, great size, 6'5", around about 225, 230 pounds. Also can run the football well and can throw it too. So they both, bring a good knowledge of playing the quarterback position to the game. And I'm happy to have both too as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll try to get two more questions in quickly. First one goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach, defense held in the first half to minus 56 yards.
Mm-hmm.
In the second half, they kind of got going once they made the switch of the quarterback and kind of got their running game going. Tell us how, as far as the defense goes, what type of adjustments you're gonna make from you made in this game, and then what you're gonna do for the game against Southern.
Well, after the first half, we kind of, and that was on me, we kind of made some substitutions and put some backups in there. And, that's when you seen them kind of get the ball moving around a little bit. But our first unit played extremely well. Like you said, that's who played the entirety of the first half. We didn't play them much in the second half. But like I told the team in the team meeting, regardless of who on the field, defensively, we expect to dominate. We didn't do that. We gave up that one drive where they did score that touchdown, and I got on them pretty good about it. And, they know my expectation defensively. If they don't score, they can't win. We wanted to pitch that shutout, and, I was disappointed we didn't get it. But, it is what it is on that. But we got to be solid again this week. We want to always talk about winning the first quarter, winning the first half, winning the third quarter, winning fourth quarter. And takeaways, we had several takeaways in this football game that I was very proud of as a defense. So those are some things that we'll emphasize going into this Southern game.
Appreciate you, Coach. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Last question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, it's something about when Southern plays Jackson. You know about it. You know what it looks like as a player, a student athlete, and as a coach. Why is this rivalry? Why is this such a big deal in a big game?
So many great players has participated in this rivalry. For one, you talk about some of the greats in the SWAC, but it's not a lot of love. I mean, it's not a lot of love in between the two schools. Just like you said, I can remember that as a player, and now as a coach, it's the same way. Coach Graves, he's a great football coach. He's going to have those guys fired up. But that rivalry amongst the fans is something serious. when you talk about that Southern and Jackson State football game, and it's not going to be any different this weekend. You know, these fans want those bragging rights for another year, you know, here in Jackson, and we're going to go out there and, you know, give them that this weekend. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate what y'all do.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
This concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, September 9th. This audio and video archive is available at the SWAC Digital